So I won't give you a long, elaborate disquisition on how the biology of the planet is being affected, but basically you're seeing species changing where they occur. You see them changing their life cycles, plants and animals. You can actually see so much more dramatic change than that. In some places where there are clear examples of tipping points in essentially ecosystem failure. So prominent amongst those are coral reefs, which prior to 1983 were not exposed to sufficient high temperature, even for short periods of time, to show what are called bleaching events. And basically what happens is the basic partnership on which a coral reef is built is between a coral animal and an alga, and not many weeks of elevated temperature, if not a great degree of elevation, leads the coral animal to expel the alga, and the whole thing goes from technicolor to black and white. And the diversity crashes and the productivity crashes, and the benefit to the local communities crashes, and 5% of humanity lives within 100 meters of coral reefs. So that's a very clear example. And what's been happening to the coniferous forests in North America is a clear terrestrial example. And basically what's happening there is the longer summers and the milder winters have tipped the balance in favor of native bark beetles, such that in many places 70% of the trees are dead in the forests out there. I mean, you go from Denver to Vail, and 70% of the trees are dead along the way. That's happening from southern Alaska through Canada and Vancouver, all the way down at least as far as Colorado. And there's a third and very interesting thing that's sort of hanging in the balance right now, which is climate change and what it means for significant portions of the Amazon basin, particularly the Amazon forested part of the basin. And the Hadley Center's climate model first predicted dieback in the southern and eastern parts of the Amazon as something that would take place at 2.5 degrees. A revised run of that model a couple years ago moved it to 2 degrees. And a World Bank study that put $1 million into modeling the effects of climate change, plus fire, plus deforestation, which had never been modeled together before, suggests that you could actually have a tipping point to Amazon dieback at 20% deforestation, and they're currently at 18. But what I'm trying to lead up to here is the notion that 2 degrees is too much for ecosystems. And I don't think you need to have a lot of elaborate further work to actually buy that as a real goal. And of course, 2 degrees is what the negotiations are about trying to stop at.
Just to be clear, you're talking about 2 degrees from pre-industrial.
Yeah. I assume you guys know that, right?
So different speakers will sometimes use different
So here we are talking about stopping at something that's too much for ecosystems, and the very disturbing reality that if we wanted to stop at 2 degrees, emissions have to peak in 2016.